All right. So who'd you play, and how are you feeling about the game?
I played a lot of Siegfried and a lot of Avatar
Okay.
Belial. So I was trying out different characters. I did try out other characters too, just for like, testing purposes to see what they do. Like Anil, the new big titty cow milker girl.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Sheep girl.
Yeah. Great animations,
really
by the
is.
way. Great animations.
Yeah, her
on
animations are
she has a lot of funny animations throughout all the super. Like someone had a lot of fun with that character for multiple reasons, more than just two. There was a lot of reasons that they had fun with her, but I think she was a win. A lot of people really liked her.
Yeah, they gave her a lot of good moves. Especially, I think it's her down sweep.
Oh, where she just extends the spear,
extending pole,
fussies, baby, fussies from halfway across the screen.
If anything, it was like playing Soul Calibur, and it was annoying as hell.
Oh,
and fighting like a Killick player or something like that, just doing that, or like
her sheep projectile also has some really interesting interactions. It's kind of like low profile, so it actually doesn't like collide with some things, and it could actually cause some really weird situations.
I believe it was like Matera's arrows and stuff like that. It doesn't collide with. It's weird, but a lot of the game felt better than the original. I will say you'll hear everybody say it. It is the 6.6L game of the year.
That's what I heard.
AKA Dash Light.
Actually, somebody in my chat
like,
told me the
6.6L.
dashing. Yeah, somebody told me in Dash Light is like plus sunblock or something,
Yes.
and for everybody. Yeah, so it's like he was
except
telling
for
me,
like
it was
two characters.
So somebody in my chat was like, I try to get away from Drive Rush, and then this game has Drive Rush.
Nope.
With that,
You're not running from it. It's
Yeah.
okay. So like
dodge.
you could dodge it. You could just outspace it. You could neutral jump, punish it. Like there's a lot of options against it. Even with the new armor system for the ultimate moves or enhanced moves, or whatever you want to call them. They have like different names. I think they're called like Ultra or something. I don't know. I wasn't really looking at the names of the new 100% of the new mechanics besides Rise. I'm calling it Rising Impact. I think it was like something else. Rising Strike. There we go. Rising Strike, which became like kind of like the staple, which is like those diamonds that you use.
Yes.
Everybody was kind of using that system a little bit more. You could tell like who wasn't prepped for the game because they didn't know, but they had the whole. I'll be honest. It was like a regular base game. You had training room as the number one thing that was once you start up the game, it's there. They also are willing to let you go through the tutorial. The biggest thing was picking your rank, almost in a sense, where either you started from like a B rank or a C rank. Not that it mattered because there was no rank; it was only casuals. They did a good job with allowing you to just queue up for casual play, but they also did a good job with the open lobby. So you could run around, you could do all some nonsense. They had like in the Japanese server, they had all Wayne's kind of doing like his little emote where he like does a little like go up and down or around, stuff like that. So they had like a bunch of people doing that. It was the beta felt like it didn't feel like a beta. It felt like almost the game. Like if they don't do anything different besides maybe change minor things and add all the rest of the stuff, this is a good game. That's the best way I can put it. But there's a lot of mechanics. Like I said before, it's going to be a little overwhelming, and it is. It is.
So I took a peek at things like the subreddits and all too, to kind of get a feel for like how people are posting up about it. What are their thoughts on it? Funny enough, I'm hearing more of the opposite right now. I mean, granted, this is still just the open beta. It hasn't been to everybody, and everyone's had a chance to play. But newcomers that are actually trying to just check out the game, maybe they just completely just washed Granblue, right? Maybe didn't get a chance to play it, or by the time they maybe wanted to look at it, it was already, not dead, but it was suffering, right? And COVID happened and all that. It kind of just erased the game a little bit. Saying they were jumping in, and even some that were just not like into fighting games or aren't like hardcore fighting, I actually just enjoyed the game. Like off the rip, just loved the game for what it was. It was complex, but you still had the easy inputs, right? You still have simple inputs you can throw in there. There was other content you could do, right? On top of that, the lobby system, everything else that was included. It was just generally very well received, and as it should. Like I said, we're no strangers to us liking the game. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all kind of enjoy the game. And I'm stoked to see that it's kind of gonna get that resurgence. Like this open beta has been kind of like the first step to that. But some things that I have heard are like, do you feel the game is just offensive heavy? If you were to kind of put it on a spectrum, do you think it's like a little bit more skewed towards that than defensive play at all, or do you think it's a good balance between the mechanics that they have, right? Because there are several layers there.
Well, if I could really quick, coming from me, I only played like the computer mode, and then just seeing how fast the meter build was and how much it depended on using those overly EX moves. Yeah, man, it's aggressive as hell. Yeah, like everybody feels like Lancelot, in my opinion. And again, I didn't even put that much time into it, but like if everybody can do Lancelot type stuff, or at least my guy Six can, holy cow, this game is scary. That's why I was telling in the Discord, I'm a little bit intimidated by the game. Just a little bit.
I don't blame you for being intimidated by the game, honestly. Like, it is a little overwhelming when you start fighting more experienced players, or you just start noticing like how fast the game can get. And the game can get pretty fast, whether it be movement or even damage. Damage is really high in this game.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of a little insane even without losing your diamonds. As you know, you start taking tons more damage as you start breaking
the less that you have, the
game.
more your damage you actually doubles up. Or excuse me, you had an extra 15, then it's like 30% extra and such. It's like 50, I think, when you have none.
So I personally, I definitely think the game is really easy to get into. It's fun, but yeah, it can be a little overwhelming with how strong some characters feel. But it's also, you got to remember, it still has those elements of like Street Fighter where you have to play footsies, you have to do all those things. I think if you're playing someone new or new people are playing, you're not really going to see you might see how hyper aggressive the game is, because there's so much you can do on offense, but it doesn't destroy defense. Honestly, between spot dodging, between roll, which rolls a little you need to just know what you're rolling, between good movement, being able to also I guess you could say it's like a blowback or kind of like a guard cancel. Pretty much it does use one of your diamonds, but you kind of start noticing as you play the game more with higher level people and people who are thinking a little bit more, it stops being a very hyper offensive game and just becomes an offensive game. Because in situations where you might find yourself locked down, either getting chipped or opened up, where you could take a lot of damage, or you might want to press, you have the option to push people off of you. But at the same time, you also have options to DP with either the enhanced version, which might push them far away and go back to neutral, or just a regular DP. So there's quite a few options that are really nice on defense. I wouldn't mind maybe an option for using my meter to get people off of me outside of spinning a bar, because it felt a little bit like I was killing myself, because if I pushed somebody away and they were able to push me back to the corner, I was like, okay, well, now I have 2 diamonds, or I have 1 diamond left, and then if I mess this up and they block, I'm in the situation where I'm not plus, and we're kind of fighting again in the same situation, and I could either get chipped or I could take a lot of damage if I guess wrong, which I think is fine. It's part of the mechanics. There's got
to be a balance to it. So but I think overall the beta weekend was successful. I've kind of only heard good things. And not to say Twitter's the end all be all, but Twitter tends to blow things up out of proportion all the time. But on the other side, the masses, when there is a consensus on something, you tend to hear, there's usually at least some sort of direction, or at least some sort of truth somewhere in there. But I've heard nothing but rather good things on it. So I'm hoping to that the game will then kind of take that and run with it and see all the feedback, which, by the way, you should be giving it feedback. There is a survey that you can give back to them about the beta to get all kinds of information to them as to what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, all that kind of good stuff. Remember, kind of like the ArcSys treatment, right? That direction, that two-way street of communication is kind of becoming even more integral.
I will say one thing, and it's called Raging Strike. My bad. It's not Rising Strike.
Raging Strike.
Raging Strike is a very interesting tool in the game that I think is only going to get more interesting as you continue to play the game, because you can break a Raging Strike from happening. It costs you quite a bit, but it's going to cost you 2 diamonds. But it's still like, do I want to take 60% or would I rather just take 30%? Of whatever was happening? So there's some really cool stuff with the game, and I implore more people to play the game. I'm probably going to end up buying it and switching off of DNF Duel if that doesn't feel comfortable anymore down the road, because I think this game makes sense for anime players to go to if they're not playing Guilty Gear, or if they're kind of trying to get back into a fighting game. I think this is a good spot. The game feels good, characters feel good. I'll be honest, some characters you're going to have to learn. That's the only thing I will say about this game. You have to learn what every character's enhanced or their ultimate special moves do. They are very, very different per character. Some characters get armor early, some characters get later armor, some characters get command grabs that are fully invincible. Like, it's just a lot. So you definitely got to learn. That's just this game. It's a knowledge check game for sure.
Damn right, man. There's a lot of very unique characters, a lot of unique mechanics to get into, and then you shuffle up those universals that you said, like everyone's kind of pulling their own, kind of like their own on that. It's it's gonna be a lot. But hey, the more you play, the more it'll make sense, and the more it kind of stays in your head. So